Hi everyone and welcome back. I do quite a regular amount of catching up because I only come to the garage once or twice a week max, normally on a weekend, so normally I'm kind of catching myself up as to what I'm doing. Tank I've been flushing all week with vinegar, shaking it about, changing its positions, making sure that vinegar can do its thing. Problem is, I need to have loads of fuel to put in when it's ready, so I'm going to leave the vinegar in even another full week and keep working around the bike for now. I think that's important. Here's my biggest issue with this bike. I absolutely know the history of this bike. Aiden had it originally, who's a local and a member of the channel, and then it went to someone called Neil, lovely guy Neil, but he can't find the logbook. Okay. Now, normally in the past, you call the DVLA, you tell them your name and address, and you'd say, it's my bikes, can you send me a new logbook? And they'd send you a new book within days. These guys are insisting on a VIN number. Now, let me show you the VIN number on the neck here. Because these bikes had paintwork and stuff over the years, the number's quite hard to get to, look. And in fact, there's even a bit of corrosion down here. So it absolutely starts there, you can see that. But I'm struggling with getting the rest. So I'm trying to work out. I mean, in the past, you'd scuff it down a bit with something and you might find it. Now, there should also be a plate on here, on this down arm with the number. Again, I can't, there isn't a plate, but it's not for any dodgy reasons. This bike has had work done in the past. I think the frame was painted at some point. It's not looking great right now, but it was painted at some point. So what I desperately need is to find a second VIN number on this bike, and at the moment I can't. I will try and get that one off the stem with a bit of scuffing pad, but I really wanted to find the plate and I just can't. It's so frustrating because we know the history of the bike, we know it's legit, there's no issues at all with that, and just the loss of a logbook, whereas in the past you would just call up and get a new one. Very frustrating. I'll go back to Aiden soon and just see if there's an engine number there. That's good, engine numbers there, and just see if he might have an old copy of a logbook. Or actually, I'll go back to Neil as well and just say to him, see that you don't have an old copy of a logbook as well, because that would be helpful. Other than that, I want to get it up and running soon. So this is a road registered bike. It's under Neil's name and address currently, but we have no way of transferring it, because even if I filled out that form to get a new one, you have to put the VIN on there. So it's a bit frustrating at the moment, but I'm really hoping. I don't want this bike going scrap. I really don't. So I do want to save this. I'm going to try and scuff the stem a touch in case I get lucky, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to get that. I can see you can see the start. I don't think it's stamped strong enough, so I could even go sandpaper on there. I don't think it's stamped strong enough. What I would do is, if at any point I do get a logbook or the VIN number, I'll get a plate made. That bit's easy, and I'll stick that plate on somewhere so that people have it for the future. But for now, I don't have any access to a VIN number on the bike. And again, it's not an issue with ownership or anything. We know where the bikes come from. It's just about getting the current logbook. What a pain. I think my task for today is the moped over there though. I do want to pop this carb off. It might be quite quick. Maybe I'll pop this carb off. Have I got any fuel? I can leave all the jets soaking. I do. Alright, let me pop this carb off quickly because I want to give it a quick clean and get it all soaking. And then I want to pop the carb off that moped. I want that to be the next sellable bike. On the logbook, it's actually a category bike, so I don't understand the new categories. It doesn't say category N anymore. It says salvaged because the cost of repair was too much. So in my head, I panicked at first and I thought, wait a minute, that means it's not sellable. But actually, I have seen it before. I think that is category N. Salvaged because the cost of repair is more than the bike's worth. And on Chinese bikes, that's easy. That's panel damage, right? So, other slight issue I've got, not issue, but the lithium battery I've got won't charge. None of my stuff will charge it. So I'm trying to work out how to, it's because my equipment won't charge it if it's under a certain charge. So I might have to charge another battery and boost it with that somehow, I have to try some wizardry to get that charged, or I'll just buy a non-lithium battery. It doesn't need it. I wasn't really filming today, guys. I'm a bit tired, but I thought it was really important to show you this. Look. That is tar. Varnish. I mean, it's still... I mean, I haven't put any fresh fuel in this. I mean, that is crazy. There's a bit on the end. Look, that's when you try to start it, it would just suck straight up into there. So that is what's in the carb. That's why sometimes they need a good clean. Pull out the rubber because the carb cleaner and fuel can make that swell. So I'm going to try and pull it out without breaking it. And then I'll spray it out with good old brake cleaner. I don't use carb cleaner anymore. I use brake cleaner for all of it. You can use brake cleaner on all of it, but you can't use carb cleaner on brakes. So, brake cleaner. And then I'm going to pour some fuel in, let it sit. I might even let it sit over the week because fuel is a good cleaner. Tip it out next week, and that should be fine. I'll put all the jets in there as well, get them cleaned out. I'll spray through all of the channels, make sure they're clear, and then that should be fine by next week. That should be back to normal. I'm thinking now I'm going to change all the fuel lines. There's going to be that gunk in the fuel lines. The tank I'm flushing already, that's fine. I do think this will just start up, but this was a riding bike. I really don't think there'll be issues with this starting. When I'm feeling brave enough, I'm going to take the wrap off the exhaust. I hate touching that stuff because it gets me. It gives me the rash and stuff, fiberglass rash. If it is fiberglass, it might not be. And I just want to hear it. I'm going to be honest, I just want to hear it running again. That's my number one aim at this stage. Let me hear it running again. Anthony's already asked me for it. Anyone who doesn't know Anthony, he is a Honda expert. I think he'll say he's not, but he is a Honda expert. He took the cd200 off me. But saying that, it needs a lot of work. Let me just show you, you know, this should come off and be painted. I'd probably scuff it and paint it black. Really, the swing arm, all of this, really, it should all come off. It should really go back down to frame, like I did with the CB, and have a good frame paint before doing anything else. Or, I mean, even the top of the spiders, even the top of the starting motor. But I can't stand all that. For me, it needs to be taken off. It needs to be smoothed out and painted. And I know that Anthony could manage that. I know he'd take pride in doing that. So I'll consider it, but it might even be that I get it started and I use it over the summer and then he can take it for the winter, something like that. We'll see. I'm going to do this quickly and then I'm going to switch to that carb because I want to see if that's a runner rider. I'm sure I've had that started, haven't I? But it then refused to start. So quick carb clean, and I think that will be the next bike ready to go. It won't be worth anything, guys. 750. This moped just sold for 800. 750 maybe. It's got a great service history, but it's also a salvage bike, and the panels aren't great, right? So I'm just going to get it safe, serviced, MOT'd, make a few pound on it, nothing major, and we'll go on from there. By the way, the handway, it was running and idling beautifully. Next consideration for me was to whether I run the new tank or the old tank. I haven't even looked at the old tank, I'm going to be honest. I can probably easily make it free flow. So it could probably stay in its original configuration. I would like a suction stop system in between, which you can buy. They're out there, they're cheap and cheerful. Because when the bike's not running, I don't want to overwhelm the carb. But saying that, the new tank doesn't have that. It has an on switch, a reserve switch, and an off switch. It doesn't have a suction system. So it wouldn't matter really. They don't use them, you know. So you won't see like, well, I mean, you will see a difference. That's a very clean carb, and that's, you know, there's no ultrasonic cleaners here, there's no power, that's with brake cleaner. And actually fuel, if you have spare fuel, fuel is a great cleaner for chains, for everything. It is thoroughly clean, including the air fuel mix. I say thoroughly clean, it's as clean as I can get it. I have no doubt though that will be a working carb. On some occasions I clean carbs 2 or 3 times because I haven't done it thoroughly enough. That's on me, that happens to me sometimes, but it's part of the process, right? You know, I enjoy the process, so that's what happens. I'm going to chuck this carb straight back on. I kind of want it back on. There's no fuel in the bike, so it will stay clean. I just want this bike to be, I think next weekend I could probably put some fuel straight down the carb and fire this up. I think it needs its battery, which won't charge. I might have to just order the equivalent, and I think we'll hear it. I really think that will just run and ride. Obviously I'll check all the oils and stuff, because there's people out there like Anthony who runs bikes with no oil. It's funny really, you can do a big job on a bike and it not show, but actually we've got a clean carb on there, air box is back on, so that could run and ride when we're ready. Starter solenoid is not looking at its best. I was speaking to the guys, there's 2 of them, Neil and Kesh. Oh, sorry, I think I said it wrong, but this was a fuse blower. It used to blow fuses a lot, so I want to check under there and see what that is, and I'll know when I put power to it, if there's power to it. Why would the fuse be blowing? I don't know. It could be an earthing issue. I'm not sure this bike has an earth to frame. I'd need to check that. Some do, some didn't in the past, I think. Again, that's all the stuff I'm not sure about on this bike. So why would it blow a fuse regularly? I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to nip up the clip on the carb so that I know that this bike is ready to be kicked over at some point. I'm just going to check the connections on here, but they're rubbered up, so they should be fine. Just check the connections on the back, but again they're rubbered up, so again should be fine. This should be up in here, I don't know why it's not. Yeah, if I put fuel through that and connected the battery, that would probably, you'd probably hear that today. Either that, or that's me being extremely optimistic. Well, let's get out this little moped, let's give it a quick carb clean and hope that it kicks over immediately and becomes a normal running bike, and then I'll look at what it needs for MOT. For now, this bad boy goes back in the garage.